All right.
Great.
Welcome to our fifth final Jumpstart Your Health for Cancer Survivors. There might be a few more people joining us, but I'm going to get started. Did anyone want to share any recipes that they made that were plant-based, or it doesn't have to be the ones that we've talked about? Anything new that you want to share?
I'm gonna get scolded.
Why?
Well,
'Cause-
I'm gonna make a nice stew, but I haven't done it yet. Let's put it that way.
Well,
I've got the recipe and look forward to it.
that you have the intention
Yeah, I do.
and the recipe, so you'll get there.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to share that recipe maybe?
It's one that we got from Sandy.
Oh, great.
It's in my office.
Which one?
The first night? Second?
Well, I got it. Well, I don't want to minimize and lose you, but I might have it right here.
Oh, like an attachment, something I sent along the way, maybe.
Yeah, I went on a rampage printing everything, and it was one of those. And it sounded more appealing than other things, so I thought that's one I ought to break it.
I think you sent the beefless stew from Forks Over Knives. I
Yeah,
think
that
that's what
sounds
you're
about
talking
right.
about.
That's a really good one.
That sounds
Yeah,
like
looks
a
good.
beef stew.
It's especially if you want something hearty with like big chunks of carrots and potatoes, and you can throw in mushrooms. I forget what's in it, but that's a good one. And there's no beef.
Right.
Good for you. And there's no like heavy cream. I thought we'd just do the Andrew wheel breathing. Just I don't know if everyone last time we did it, but what we're going to do is just do 4 cycles of breaths. We're going to breathe in for a count of 4, hold it for a count of 7, and breathe out for a count of 8. So I'll count with my fingers. So just breathe in and breathe in nose and out through your mouth. So breathe in, hold, and out. In, hold, out. In, hold, out. In, hold, and out. Kicks in on calming hormones. Good thing to do if you're ever stressed out, and it takes less than a minute. And there's one thing talking about it, but just doing it kind of makes you realize, oh gosh, that's simple.
It is simple, and it's amazing how much it can affect you.
Yeah,
It can
You're
really
right.
bring you right down, calm you right down.
yeah, it's like, woo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was recently in a situation that was more stressful than I can begin to tell you. And I was beginning to cry, and I thought, okay, in for 4 counts, hold for 6 counts, breathe out for 8 counts, or whatever it is. And I did it a few times, and the tears subsided, and I just breathed, and it's amazing how well it works.
Yeah.
So thanks, Sandy.
You're welcome. Thanks for
Yeah, it's good.
All right, I'm going to share my screen. This. Okay. So yes, nutrition does matter. Today, we're going to talk about the rainbow of fruits. And the most important or biggest one is the berry category that I just start right off with. And if you've looked at Dr. Greger's Daily Dozen app, he separates berries from the other fruit servings. So he recommends having a serving of berries every day in addition to 3 other fruits. But berries are different because of their small little natural package. Things are just concentrated in their form. They're full of vitamins, phytonutrients. They're anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, anti-cancer, heart healthy, fiber, superfoods. And I don't know if like you're getting the theme here now in the 5th class, but basically anything that has phytonutrients, which is most of the plant, all of the plants are anti-inflammatory. Whenever you see anti-inflammatory, it also means anti-cancer. Anytime you see antioxidant, it means anti-cancer. Like these things all overlap. Anything with fiber, anything that's superfood, it's all anti-cancer. So, and I'm going to tell you some of the special secret ingredients or gifts that each of the different kind of categories of fruits have. And the secret ingredient, one of the many, many, many secret ingredients, but one that's been studied widely is called ellagic acid. And the highest amounts are found in raspberries. Blackberries are super high in lots of antioxidants, blueberries, but it's also found in other foods like hazelnuts and pecans. And ellagic acid has been shown in the labs to decrease tumor growth, improve a cell's ability to fight off toxins that might lead to cancer, prevent blood vessel formation that feeds tumors, and luckily, freezing does not impact the anti-cancer effect of berries. So when it's off season, like now, like I bought my blueberries frozen, especially when you need 4 cups of them. And cranberries you can buy frozen, but all the berries in the winter, if they don't look so hot fresh, you can get them frozen. And I really like the teeny little blueberries from Maine, the little ones. They're like, I think even better than the big fat ones. So I like buying I think it's called Wyman's. I'll show you.
Mm-hmm.
And blueberries, the secret ingredient, one of them, of the many, is in this class called anthocyanidins, which is this group of phytonutrients that give blueberries their striking color, but is also found in many purple and blue fruits and vegetables. But the anthocyanidin in blueberries is called delphinidin, and it's been shown to block cell growth and cancer apoptosis, which is the fancy name for cell suicide, where cancer cells just die off when they're exposed to this. So eat your blueberries. Pomegranates are really interesting vegetable fruit. Their secret weapon is 2 different groups of polyphenols, which are antioxidants that are in the anthocyanidin and hydrolysable tannin. I don't even know what that means, but these are 3 different, including ellagic acid, but the punicalin and punicalagin, they're relatives of the ellagic acid, and they have very powerful antioxidant properties, which when anything's an antioxidant, it's protecting cells from toxins. It has different anti-cancer effects by suppressing cancer cell growth and promoting the cancer cell death, the apoptosis. They've done studies in countries where men eat a lot of pomegranates. They have the lowest rates of prostate cancer in the world, 50 times lower than what we see in the United States. So, these are population studies, but still, like, I put a lot of weight on population studies when it comes to nutrition because it's hard to do randomized control studies. So I think this is very interesting. It's a very heart healthy food, and a pomegranate is actually a big berry, which I thought was botanically interesting. You eat it as a fruit, so just raw. You can toss it on a salad and or mix it with any whole grain. So let's say you were making like a farro salad with chopped sweet potato or butternut squash and pecans. Like you can throw it in with a bunch of, you know, kind of fall farro salad. We're going to talk more about pomegranates afterwards. So the rosacea family means rose, and all of these are related botanically to the rose plant, but peaches, nectarines, plums, apricots, apples, pears, and cherries are all in this family botanically, and they have chlorogenic acid as their gift. And studies show that the more that these fruits are eaten, the lower the rates of several types of cancer. And of course, there's no downside. So if you're eating your, I try to diversify my fruit when I eat it. So I have my berries every morning. I try to have a citrus. I usually have an apple or something, plum or a pear for a snack. So it's good to include this. But cherries have a triple threat. Within them, they have the chlorogenic acid, the cyanidins found in blueberries, and the ellagic acid found in all the strawberries and raspberries. So they have like a ton of antioxidants that are found in all these other fruit. So unfortunately, you can't get them now except frozen. But when they're fresh, these are, I think of them as like medication that's just so good for you. When you talk about food as medicine, I always think about these dark black cherries. They're so good. Tomatoes botanically are a fruit, and their secret gift is lycopene, which is part of the carotenoid family. And this is what accounts for the fruit or vegetable's red color. It is the best dietary source of lycopene that there is. And interestingly, when you cook them, you get way more of the lycopene from them than when they're raw. They're still beneficial to have raw, but cooking them increases it. So I think it's interesting that we do eat a lot of cooked tomatoes as part of the diet in America with pasta sauce on pizza, spaghetti. So that's one good thing about that. And a little bit of olive oil does increase the absorption, help to increase the absorption of lycopene. Lycopene accumulates in the skin and can actually slow down aging and lower the risk of melanoma. And it's been found to be detectable 1 month later in the skin. So it's kind of stored in the skin. So it's recommended to eat tomatoes at least twice a week. And the highest amount is found in tomato paste. And tomato paste is a nice concentrated, rich flavor. So I often add it to things like the beefless stew, the mushroom stroganoff. Anytime you're making like a soup, you can add a couple tablespoons of tomato paste. And you know how it comes in that little can? And unless you're making like a pasta sauce, you usually don't need the whole can. You just need a tablespoon or two. So I take a tablespoon and then measure them out in little blobs on a piece of wax paper and freeze it. And then I just keep it in the freezer in a plastic baggie or in a container. So when I need it, I can just grab a tablespoon, just a shortcut thingy that I do. Citrus fruits are another big category of fruit that have different gifts. They're more than just a source of vitamin C, which everyone knows them for. One orange contains more than 200 compounds, including 60 different polyphenols and terpenes. They're known for their flavonones, which is an antioxidant. They're anti-inflammatory, they detoxify. They've been shown to block cell cancer growth, and it's recommended to eat some kind of citrus fruit daily and to eat the whole fruit over juice. Because I think we've gotten in the habit of having orange juice as kind of an American breakfast staple, but it's so much better to eat the whole orange because those little septum between the segments and some of the pith stuff, the white stuff, really high in antioxidants. So I know it's a little bitter and not the best tasting stuff, but if you instead of peeling off every last bit of the white stuff, try to eat it. Like when you're eating a grapefruit, eat it like an orange. Peel the whole thing like a giant orange and eat the whole segment rather than scooping it out. If you want, it's better for you. And then red wine and alcohol. There is most optimistic data is that maybe there's a J curve only when we're talking about red wine. And what that means is this J shape. So if the line that goes across the middle means it does not affect mortality at all, whether you live longer or shorter. So when it dips down, it means it's good for you. So it's helping mortality. But then when it goes up above the line, it means it's bad for you and it's increasing mortality. So what this is showing that maybe, this is in this one particular study that I pulled out, 1 drink of red wine a day maybe is good for you. And anything over that, this is showing when it gets up to like 2 drinks for men, it's bad for you. And as far as any other alcohol, there has never been anything beneficial shown, unfortunately, about margaritas or anything else I love, but red wine, maybe. And it's because of the resveratrol, which is an antioxidant found in the skins of the purple grapes. However, you can get this 1 glass of wine, you get the same amount of resveratrol by eating 6 purple grapes. So it's probably a healthier way to go. It also these red grapes and red wine also contain the anthocyanidins found in blueberries, flavonols, phenolic acids. So there are some positive things found in alcohol. It's beneficial for heart health, has some anti-cancer effects, although less have been noted in breast cancer studies. And other alcohol increases breast cancer. So in general, a recommendation is to not drink alcohol, but maybe red wine, there might be benefit to just a little bit. And important to point out is I don't know if we've talked about the blue zones at all, but they're the portions of the world that have the greatest amount of people that live to over 100 that have been studied extensively by this National Geographic group led by Dan Buettner. And he wrote a book, he's written several books called The Blue Zone Diet. And they've studied, well, what is it about these communities that people live so long? And in all of them, except for one, they do drink alcohol. And in Sardinia, which is this island off of Italy, they drink this Cananu red wine, which has been studied and has super high levels of antioxidant, like 3 to 5 times more of this particular compound than found in the same grapes grown in France, just not far away. And in Okinawa, Japan, which is a very southern island in Japan, where there's a lot of women that live very old. In Sardinia, it's a lot of men that live to be old. They drink a lot of sake, and the women get together every afternoon and gossip and drink their sake together. So there's something to be said for the community and drinking together in a group and having a glass of sake and bonding with people, because part of longevity is related to a sense of connectedness and purpose and connection with others. So just throw that in there in the red wine comments. So in general, kind of with everything we've talked about all 5 weeks, try to eat the rainbow every day. And this is a message I tried to hammer in at Hasbro Children's Hospital when I ran a pediatric obesity clinic there. And I grew a garden called the Hasbro Rainbow Garden, and each bed was a different color of the rainbow, growing vegetables of different colors. And there was a big sign that said, "Did you eat the rainbow today?" But it's so simple a message, but really, like with everything we're talking about with fruits and vegetables, like keeping it that simple, trying to eat the rainbow every day, to eat something purple, because then you're going to get your anthocyanins and your delphinidins, and you don't have to know all the science if you just think about the rainbow. So this was a summary that I had, eat to live and live to eat, right? So that's what we're learning about, eating to live, but also food can be delicious, right? So eat whole, unprocessed plant foods, eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, including daily leafy greens, eat legumes for your protein and whole grains rather than refined, eat a lot of variety, including the rainbow, try to eat clean, organic when possible, and when possible, additive and chemical free. And eat only to 80% full. You don't want to stuff yourself. There is a saying in the Okinawans, they say before each meal, kind of as like a grace, hara hachibu, which means, and it translates roughly to eat 80% full. I'm not quite sure how that became part of their ritual, but that's in the Blue Zone book that I thought was interesting. Eat sitting down, not standing up, not walking to your car, not in your car. Try to like sit down at the table and eat with friends and family, and eat mindfully. Appreciate the food in it. It's all good. So that is that. Questions?
One question. Dried fruits like dried cranberries and what do you call it? Dried
Like apricots and figs and
bananas and stuff like that. Not only dried foods, but dehydrated fruits. Are those okay for you, or are they too full of sugar? What's the story with them?
they are, well, first of all, some of them have added sugar and oil.
Oh,
So be careful, read the labels. It's hard to find cranberries or dried cherries that do not have oil and even just oil added, but many of them have sugar, like the pineapple slices or the dehydrated apples. So you want to avoid that. But even if they're oil-free, sugar-free, they're concentrated sugar because they're shrunken. So you tend to eat more of them. But they do count as a serving size. And with Dr. Greger, he just changes the serving size to half. So they recommend a 1/4 cup of dried fruit versus a 1/2 cup of fresh fruit. But I think, you know, in the cancer world, I know there's some, like, you don't want to, that sugar feeds tumors. So it seems to me I would avoid dried fruit if I were a cancer survivor, because it is kind of more concentrated form of sugar, and I think it would be better to eat the whole fruit.
okay. But the dried is okay, like dried raisins and I
Yeah,
don't
but the,
dried, I'm
it's-
sorry, I mean raisins and stuff like that.
yeah, I mean, I think the raisins they're still concentrated. You know, it's better to have the grapes probably than the raisins, but it's okay to have a little bit, you know, it's,
Okay, thanks.
you're welcome. All right, so today I make a mixed berry crisp, and Sarah Federici created this recipe when we were doing some cooking classes at Plant City. She was a Johnson & Wales recent grad, I think. I think she had graduated, and she came up with a whole bunch of recipes that she's given me permission to share, but this is one that she invented. And I love it, and I've made it a lot. Let me just fix that. Looks funny. Got it. Can you see? Let's see. Does that work?
Yeah.
Here?
Yep.
All right. What I've learned is with the recordings, only, for whatever reason, only the phone records.
Oh,
Even though the primary, I started on the computer, so I just don't get it. Okay, so this recipe is really simple. We start with, let's see. Oh, preheat the oven. I should have done that before, but, and it's 350, so done. So for the topping, we mix. Okay, first we do the filling. So I like keeping things simple and not dirtying a lot of dishes. So I'm gonna, instead of doing the filling in a bowl and then putting it in here, I'm just gonna mix it all in here. So I'm just gonna go get my frozen veggies. I mean, frozen fruit. This is the Winans blueberries that I was talking about. They're little.
They're good.
I don't know how they grow them. They're really good. And then these are the organic cranberries from Jonathan's farm that are frozen. And I never even knew you could eat cranberries like this other than cranberry sauce until I met Sarah and she filled me in on this. And you just like that it's that simple. So 2 cups of cranberries.
Can you
Pretty
make it in
already.
a casserole instead of a cast iron?
Yeah, you can put it in an 8x8 glass. I usually do it in an 8x8 glass baking dish.
Okay.
Or you could use like a ceramic casserole. The directions say you can use cast iron. I've never done it, so I was gonna try it. And then it calls.
My cast iron always tastes like tacos, no matter what else I cook in it.
What'd you say?
My cast iron pan always seems to taste like tacos. So I don't cook anything else in it anymore.
That's interesting. All right, 4 cups. See, they're the little berries.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're tiny.
So good. I know, this is such a beautiful dish.
It's pretty.
Need a little bit more. So this one I'm gonna cut above the blocky thing. All right. And the other cool thing about this recipe, you can do apples in the fall, you can do peaches and blueberries in the spring. You know, you can do strawberries and raspberries and blueberries. Like, you don't have to just do these berries. And also the amounts, like this is 6 cups of berries, which is just a good amount for this size pan. If you had a smaller pan or a larger pan, you could just adjust. It's so beautiful. Doesn't that look amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Did you put something else in there from the little pot?
No, it's just
Oh.
blueberry cranberries so far.
Okay.
And then it also calls for 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. If you wanted to avoid the maple syrup, you could use date syrup. But I love maple syrup, so I'm just gonna drizzle this around. And 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. I love the flavors in this one.
It's gonna smell so good.
Yes. Spreading my tablespoon around. And then the zest and juice. Well, that's confusing. It says the zest and juice from half an orange. This is a big orange. And this is my zester. It's by that OXO. I love it because it zests in both directions, not just one. So it goes twice as fast. And it seems, I don't know, it's great for ginger, turmeric, and zesting. Oops. That almost fell on my dog. Odie would.
How many servings is this target?
How many servings?
Yeah,
I would think 6 or 8 people,
yeah.
depending on how big the serving. And then if you really wanted to indulge, you could get Oatly makes an oat milk based vanilla ice cream. Would be really good on this. Oh, I should have had Jeff get that. I just ran out to the store. This zest gives it this great flavor. Top of the cinnamon and the maple syrup and the fruit. All right.
So you zested half of it, right?
I did like 7/8 of it or 3/4 of it. And then, let's see. I'm just gonna cut it in half and juice it. But the juice, it says, I thought originally when I made this, it was the zest from the whole thing and juice from half of it. But the way this is written, I had an intern this summer like redo all my recipes so they looked pretty, but I think some things got lost in translation. So I think, I don't know. You could probably do either one. I guess too much might be a little bitter, but there's all these like fatty acids and like in the skins of citrus fruits and antioxidants that you don't find in the pulp. So there's nutrition benefits to eating the zest of the fruits. You definitely want to have an organic orange to do this because the skins could be really contaminated if it was grown conventionally. All right, so now I'm just gonna put this all in here with all that pulp, yum, and mix it all together. I just want to spread the zest around, because I sprinkled the maple syrup, the cinnamon and just the maple syrup kind of all around. It's pretty well distributed, but the zest kind of was concentrated in one area. So I just want to stay. Odie's hoping for a blueberry fall on the floor. I am making a bit of a mess. So.
Oh, toss him one.
Blueberry.
Yeah.
Here, Mr. Beautiful. He actually had blueberries in his dinner tonight. So.
I've tried to give Phoebe that. She won't eat them.
He got blueberries, a raspberry, and a strawberry in his dinner. He's very happy.
Awesome.
Oh, that's amazing. Here, I'll show you again.
Gorgeous. Yeah. Oh, pretty.
Very cold. Everything was frozen. All right, and then the topping, typically these crisps have a stick of butter, white flour, half a cup of brown sugar. This is not that. Zest everywhere. All right. So the thing with this, let me just put my hair up. So with the crumble, you want to take half of the rolled oats and half of the cashews. I think that also kind of got lost in translation with this in the food processor. Oh, they both do say divided in half. So I'm going to do half a cup of oats are going to go whole and half of them are going to get blended up. So I'm going to put half in the bowl.
Do you have to blend them? Or can you just put it all whole? Would it be bad if you put it all whole?
It might not form the crumble. Like if it's all whole, I have never tried it. You could try it, but I think the point of blending it is that it holds together as a crumble more. And then for the cashews, you do half and half too. A quarter cup in the food processor and a quarter cup. Oops, you know what I forgot to do? You're supposed to kind of crush them. But these are like whole cashews and you're supposed to crush them a little bit, not like whole. So I'm just gonna mush them a little bit, maybe with this.
Could you blend them, or is it better just having chunks?
You mean all of them?
The cashews.
Well, what you're supposed to do is blend half of them.
Oh, I'm not looking at the recipe, so.
Yeah. Supposed to blend half of them so it's like a powder, and the other half you're supposed to just kind of crush.
Okay,
So I'm crushing now by hand.
okay, got it.
Because you'll have, you know, these huge cashew chunks in your crumble, which frankly, I love cashews. I wouldn't really care. But the idea is to get it a little smaller size there. And then these two things you just process. It says pulse it until it's a loose crumb texture. Breadcrumbs. So I did it like this.
Yeah.
There we
So
go.
it's not powdery, but
No.
sort of.
Rough breadcrumbs. So I'm going to add that there. Nothing else coming down, Bodhi. So the oats and the cashews, half of them as crumbs, half of them just kind of crushed. All right. And then we're going to add chia seeds and cinnamon, a tablespoon of chia seeds. And because I love flax seeds, I'm going to add that as well. The chia seeds will also absorb some of the fluid and kind of bind it. This is flax seeds. I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of ground flax seed because they're so good for you. And a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. And cinnamon is one of the healthiest. There's so many healthy ones, but spices. So many antioxidants and anti-infective properties in cinnamon. So that is the dry ingredients, if you will. Chia, flax, cinnamon, oats, and cashews. And then to make it stick together, we're going to do a 1/4 cup of tahini and a tablespoon of maple syrup. Oh, and I'm going to add a little bit of salt. I've made this before, and don't do this if you have hypertension. All right. I just felt like it needed just a little bit in the past. All right, a 1/4 cup of tahini.
Which one do you like?
Well, this organics is actually from Shaw's, and I like it because it's very liquidy, but I don't know why it's liquidy, to be honest. Like, does
Yeah,
that
they're
mean
usually real thick and hard to stir.
right? And this one's liquidy, but it makes it really easy in recipes. So I started getting it more. I don't have a favorite. I used to buy the one that was more like in the peanut butter jar.
Yeah.
It does get stiff and is harder to measure, but I don't know, I like them all. I think they're delicious. I'm going to add a tablespoon of maple syrup. And that is it. All right. tahini out. Oh, the flavors, the tahini, the maple syrup, and the cinnamon. It's
I
so good.
couldn't find tahini, so I looked online for a substitute and it said to use almond butter. So I'm trying almond butter.
All the supermarkets have tahini. It's just
was-
hard to find.
Yeah, I was at Target
Oh,
and they said, oh yeah, we have tahini sauce with our falafel frozen something or other. I'm like, yeah, I don't think that's what I'm looking for.
no,
So-
but any supermarket has it, but it's
Yeah.
not defined because there's
What
not like a shelf of tahini. There's usually like one or two brands, one little row.
What's it with?
Probably the peanut butter and the almond
Okay.
butter and the
All right.
sun, because it's like a,
Yeah,
I,
they had all of those options at Target, just not tahini.
yeah, it's not as popular.
I
Mm.
love tahini. It's all sesame. So
Yeah.
so good.
Which reminds me, like, wouldn't sesame seeds be good in this too?
Yeah,
Right?
Ooh, yeah. You could sprinkle them on top, maybe.
Yeah. So, if you can see, like, it's,
Yeah,
you know, it takes a little bit of, working it in and maybe doing it by hand if you like using your hands would, probably make it go a little quicker.
yeah.
I love using my hands. During COVID, I started making sourdough bread, which I guess I wasn't the only one. But I had always wanted to learn how to make sourdough bread, but never took the time. And during COVID, I figured it out and became obsessed with it. And you have to like use your hands with the dough. And I feel like I was a baker in a past life. I love.
You can use your hands now if you want.
Thank you.
Why not?
I think it's good. So, it's not, I love these glass bowls. You can see that it's not powdery. And then you just want to spread it so that it's, evenly distributed. And then when you bake it, it takes about 45 minutes to bake. And you want it to be bubbly around the edges and the top gets kind of golden brown. So good,
yeah, it looks great.
right? Like who said?
Oh, wonderful. Yum.
So I bring this one to potlucks a lot because it's just beautiful and everyone loves it. And they're always like, really? There's no butter in this?
And you bring it in your cast iron pan, or how do you bring it?
I would. That's exactly what I would. I think this is beautiful. I've always done it in my glass square Pyrex, but I really like the way it looks in that, in this cast iron pan.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous.
That in case I want to make a
Wow.
video out of this someday. So my oven, not quite heated, and I have one. So Sarah, the woman that did the whose recipe that is, I have a video of her I found that I'm gonna play for you, and she shows how to. Oh, you know what?
There's no sound.
All right, can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
I hear you,
Okay,
but not her.
let me just, yeah. So what she's saying, I'll talk for her. She's saying that there's two sides to the pomegranate. One side where it hangs off the fruit, and I forget what the other side with where it's pollinated from. And that this side, the big fat end that she's saying at the top, you cut a square around it, and then we're gonna score down the sides to make it easy. And can you see the video?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So she scores it down a little, not enough to kind of get it all juicy and oozy, but just to kind of score the tough leathery skin. And she also said, make sure you have a sharp knife because it can slip. So you just make a square around that fat end.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have to make sure the four corners, it touches, so you can remove that flap, and you just pull off the top and the whole square comes off. She was showing our cooking class. And then when you look in, you're gonna see the white places where the spines are. And then you take your knife and you score it along the spine. So not where the fruit is, but where that white thick piece is, like the septum.
Oh, yeah.
And you go, and again, you want to score the skin, but not go too deep to like cut through all the pomegranate little beauties in there. And then the big secret part is you put it underwater, and she's just separating the whole thing in half. And normally if you don't, and then you can pull the four different segments apart, and you're left with this kind of the big center pithy thing in the middle. And then what happens is you can evert kind of each of the quarters, and all the little pomegranate seeds come out. And whatever, you can kind of play around with it, but your hands don't get all stained because you're under the water. And as the juices are splattering everywhere, it's under the water. So it's kind of a brilliant little technique. And then the other really cool thing about doing it underwater is all the white bits float and all the seeds sink. So it just makes it the process of kind of opening a pomegranate and enjoying it like that much easier. I don't know why she put that skin thing back in there. I was watching this earlier. I would remove all the white stuff as you go along. And then see, she takes that quarter and just turns it inside out to kind of pop out all the seeds. And then she's using her hands to feel the seeds and kind of pull them out. Because I had never done it this way before. When we were little, we used to just peel it, and then it would make such a huge mess. And then you would try to pull the seeds out and they'd break. And again, like you guys were saying, we used to spit out the seeds inside of the little fruit piece. So I think I'm gonna stick my crisp in the oven. Hey Siri, set timer for 40 minutes. I'm gonna check it after 40.
40 minutes starting now.
So that's that. Let me stop this. So isn't that cool?
Yeah, definitely.
You guys want to try it? For those of you that have a pomegranate, I'm going to try it. I'm not convinced my pomegranate's ripe, just because it feels very hard to me, and I don't know why. So I guess the first step, let's see, make sure this is down here. I'm going to do that 4-sided quadrant. square. Oh, it actually cuts through softer than, doesn't feel as hard now that I'm doing this. I've actually never done this, so do it for the first time. Oh, it does. That was
Wow.
so,
Perfect.
Look at that.
Wow.
I didn't expect that to, it really did just lift off like a hat.
Wow, that's perfect. I like it.
Full of goodness. And then it looks to me like right, oh, where's my camera? Like right here, there's a spine. So I'm gonna cut there and then, you know, maybe we'll just go around and see. It looks like it's right there. So I'm just gonna follow that. It's cutting. I feel like someone sharpened my knife.
Speaking of which, there's a knife sharpening person at the farmer's market.
Which one? Farmer's Market. The
They,
one at-
the one at Lippet Park,
uh-huh.
but they've closed it on Hope Street and the Boulevard. So now it's at the Arts Building, I think, in Pawtucket. Does anyone know what it's called?
You know, it used to be at the Hope Artiste Village,
That's it.
but didn't they move to the Water Fire Center or somewhere down in,
Valley Street, right?
yeah, I haven't
But
been COVID and I think
they are moving, but tomorrow, Wednesday, 4 to 7 at the Hope Artiste Building, they're having this mushroom man there.
ooh, from the Rhode Island Mushroom Company.
No, he is, let me look up his name of his company. I believe he has a mushroom farm. Let's see.
This is so much easier than I ever remember this being.
Yeah. You got a better pomegranate than me.
What?
You got a lot of my little seeds, they're not red. They're not red. It's really weird.
Mine are a little paler than I'm used to seeing. They're usually like
Yes.
a deep, like Merlot color. Mine are pale too. So I wonder if it's just not a ripe one. I don't know, because it's early in the season, you know.
But the process is definitely easy.
Right. And I do feel like, you know, sometimes they've genetically, you know, modified or changed, or maybe it doesn't have to be a genetically modified, but maybe it's just a different, they've bred them to like make them easier. The ones that are easier, they breed, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are they grown? Where are they from?
They're like, I think they're grown in like Iran and the Middle East is what I think.
Mhm.
But I don't really know. Anyone want to look it up? My hands are tied.
Sure.
And water.
Okay.
That country where they have the lowest rates of prostate
Here
cancer.
are pomegranates grown. In the Middle East.
Mm.
And I remember them also like squirting all over. I'm kind of doing this above the water and it's not.
Yeah, they used to stain. We were worried about them staining if.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're really brave doing it above water with your pretty pink shirt.
But they're not
Squirting, good.
they're not squirting.
That's good.
Because mine isn't right. I don't know. But anyway, I hope for those of you who didn't get one, you know, they're coming into season now and I got mine at Shaw's. Maybe let it sit, you know, on the counter for a few days to ripen a little bit. And that's what I'm going to do next time. See if seeds get darker. And maybe it just gives a little bit more. Mine was like, felt very firm, but I bought it yesterday. So I didn't let it sit. but I would, encourage you to get one if you never have, and if you have, it's super powerful anti-cancer food. And then the other thing I do once you go through this work, which doesn't take that long, like I've only been doing this for less than 5 minutes. So, probably a 10-minute process in total. Then I, drain them and dry them and put them in a glass container in the refrigerator. And then you have them ready to go to put in your salad or just eat them as a snack.
When you put them in the container, is it in a dry container or in water?
No, you want to dry them off. So I would drain them after this, dry them off, and put them in a glass container with a lid.
Like a ball jar?
Hmm?
Like a ball jar?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
So.
And we can
that's-
swallow it.
What?
And we can swallow the pits, the seeds.
Yeah. Oh, that was the other thing. Sarah said that I watched the video earlier. Someone asked if you can eat this white stuff. And she said she had actually done a research project on it when she was at Johnson and Wales, because she was doing a thing on sustainability and kind of like minimizing food waste. And it is edible. She said it is bitter, but so what she did was she took the white stuff and dried it. Oops, that was my bad. And then ground it into a powder and then used it in tea.
Oh,
But she said it has the white part, just like the white parts of the citrus fruits, have the flavones and different antioxidants that you don't find in the berries themselves. So
wow.
it's not like it's going to kill you to eat this white stuff we're, working so hard to remove, but that doesn't, it's very bitter. I tried it. Yeah. So there you have it. That's the other thing I'm going to do, now that I've got all the berries out, is I have this thing.
Oh, yeah.
Where my camera is, to just like take all this floaty stuff out.
Oh, good idea.
And then I put it through the strainer, like that stuff isn't going to strain out. So I thought I'd just skim off the stuff from the top. But that's it.
Wow, that's cool.
It's wonderful. And it only took a few minutes.
Right. It seems sometimes things like in our mind are like bigger deals than they really are. And I think that's true with a lot of cooking. You'll see a recipe with a lot of ingredients and it might deter you from making it. But in reality, it doesn't take that long to.
Yeah.
You can, if you read through the whole recipe, you can kind of tell, oh, like this one really is time consuming. But if it's just a lot of like spices, which oftentimes is half the recipe, that doesn't take much time.
Right. You can do that in advance. Just pour the stuff and put them in a little bowl.
Yeah.
I want to see a picture of it done.
All
I
right.
want to smell it.
Yeah.
I want you guys to eat it.
I know. That'd be nice to bring to Thanksgiving if someone's having it in
Yes.
their house, right?
Yeah.
A very
Mhm.
sweet.
Nice.
You guys have,
What was that?
I said, you guys have to make it.
Yeah. That's.
Oh, I will.
Good.
Oh, look,
Great, look at yours. That's awesome. Show
hold
it
it up again. Oh, that's so beautiful.
I did one
Oh.
too.
Oh, nice.
Arlene, yours are very light. Are those yellow?
I know. It was red on top and kind of yellowish on the bottom. And I got it at the farmer's market. I've never seen one that had two-tone like that.
How do they taste?
They taste good.
The yellow ones too?
No, not bad. They're not as good as the red, but they're okay. Yeah,
This one's really good.
yours is a lot redder.
They used to be like dark purple, like those purple cherries I showed you a picture of.
Yeah,
So not sure. But
well, maybe this was grown in the US. I don't know.
It's possible. There are
But it-
instructions online on how to grow pomegranates.
Oh. It tastes good though.
you think we can grow them here? I don't think we can grow them in Rhode Island.
I don't know. I didn't read how, I just saw that it offers suggestions.
Maybe.
I'm in California, so maybe that's why, you know, the farmer's market, they had them.
Maybe.
All right, guys, stay in touch. If you make anything, send me a picture. I'm always available to answer questions.
Thank you so much.
Really nice. Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Andy,
Thank
This
you.
has been great. And thank you for the article you sent to me. I appreciate that.
But what article?
It was the one about the aromatase inhibitor that I'm taking. And
You're
you're
welcome.
not supposed to eat raw vegetables. And I decided there's no way I'm not eating raw vegetables. So I discontinued the medication.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Talk to your doctor.
I left a message saying I discontinued it, but it was doing other things to me too, like my bones were aching and my mood was very sad and somber. So being off it feels wonderful. So anyway, there you have it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Everyone, thank you. It's been so nice cooking with you and learning with you.
Yeah,
Agreed.
great,
thank you all.
Thanks, everybody.
great
Yeah.
job.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.